President Donald J. Trump embarked on his inaugural international journey of his second term, choosing Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as his destination. Landing on May 13, 2025, he was greeted with the full pomp and ceremony befitting a state visit. A regal purple carpet, symbolic of Saudi national identity, unfurled before him, adding to the grandeur of the occasion. The aroma of freshly brewed Arabic coffee, a symbol of hospitality, filled the air, creating a welcoming atmosphere. High-ranking Saudi officials and prominent business leaders assembled to welcome the American president with open arms. The stage was set for a visit of significant diplomatic and economic weight, highlighting the importance of this meeting. This trip, however, was more than just a courtesy call. It represented a concerted effort by both nations to reset a relationship strained by years of mutual suspicion and differing geopolitical priorities. The Saudis, eager to reassert their global influence and diversify their economy away from oil, saw in Trump a transactional leader open to deal-making. Trump, for his part, recognized the strategic importance of Saudi Arabia in the volatile Middle East, and the economic benefits a closer partnership could bring. The warmth of the welcome extended to him in Riyadh was a testament to the high stakes involved, and the potential for a new chapter in U.S. Saudi relations. The centerpiece of Trump's visit was a staggering $600 billion investment pledge from Saudi Arabia into the U.S. economy. This monumental pledge was not just a simple financial transaction. It was a strategic move designed to cement a long-term partnership between the two nations. This unprecedented commitment, spanning a 10-year period, targeted key sectors such as energy, defense, infrastructure, healthcare, and technology. Each of these sectors was carefully chosen to maximize mutual benefits and foster innovation. The sheer scale of the investment was breathtaking, dwarfing previous agreements and signaling a clear intent to deepen economic ties between the two nations. It was a bold statement of mutual trust and ambition. At the heart of this economic pact lay a $142 billion defense partnership, the largest ever defense cooperation agreement between the two countries. This agreement was not just about selling military hardware, it was about building a comprehensive defense strategy that included technology transfer and joint training initiatives. This agreement encompassed a vast array of military hardware, technology transfer, and joint training initiatives. The collaboration aimed to enhance the military capabilities of both nations, ensuring they could respond to regional threats more effectively. The deal was widely seen as a boon to the American defense industry, potentially creating thousands of jobs and bolstering U.S. military capabilities. It was a significant boost for American manufacturing and technological innovation. Beyond defense, the agreement also encompassed significant investments in energy, with Saudi Arabia committing to purchase billions of dollars worth of American liquefied natural gas. This move was part of Saudi Arabia's broader strategy to diversify its energy sources and reduce its reliance on oil. This move, aimed at diversifying Saudi Arabia's own energy portfolio, represented a significant win for the American energy sector. It promised to open new markets and create opportunities for American energy companies. The remaining investment was earmarked for a range of sectors, including infrastructure, healthcare, and technology. Each of these sectors was chosen for its potential to drive economic growth and improve the quality of life for citizens in both countries. Saudi Arabia pledged to invest in American infrastructure projects, from roads and bridges to airports and seaports. These investments were expected to modernize America's aging infrastructure and create thousands of jobs. In healthcare, the focus was on joint ventures in medical research and the development of new treatments. This collaboration aimed to tackle some of the most pressing health challenges of our time. Lastly, the technology sector saw commitments in areas such as artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and cybersecurity. These investments were designed to position both nations at the forefront of technological innovation and ensure their security in an increasingly digital world. The potential benefits of this investment were undeniable, promising to create jobs, spur innovation, and strengthen economic ties between the two nations. It was a vision of a shared future built on mutual respect and cooperation. However, the sheer size of the deal and the speed at which it was negotiated also raised concerns about transparency, potential conflicts of interest, and the long-term implications for American economic independence. Critics argued that such a massive influx of foreign investment could lead to undue influence over American policies and priorities. In a move that sent shockwaves through the international community, President Trump announced the lifting of long-standing U.S. sanctions on Syria. This unexpected decision came after months of secretive negotiations and intense diplomatic efforts behind the scenes. This dramatic policy shift, a stark departure from the previous administration's stance, marked a potential turning point in the war-torn nation's history. For years, Syria had been a symbol of devastation and despair, but now, there was a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The sanctions, initially imposed in 1979 and subsequently tightened in 2004 and after the outbreak of the Syrian civil war in 2011, had crippled the Syrian economy and isolated the country on the world stage. The impact on ordinary Syrians had been profound, with shortages of basic necessities and a crumbling infrastructure. Trump's decision to lift them was presented as a gesture of goodwill and a step towards facilitating Syria's reconstruction. The announcement was met with mixed reactions, with some viewing it as a bold move towards peace, while others remained cautious and skeptical. Central to this policy shift was Trump's meeting with interim Syrian President Ahmad al-Sharaa. This meeting was a culmination of extensive diplomatic efforts, involving multiple stakeholders and international mediators. Al-Sharaa, a former militant leader who had risen to prominence during the Syrian conflict, was a controversial figure. His leadership was seen by some as a necessary evil, a pragmatic choice in a complex and volatile situation. His past ties to extremist groups and his role in the brutal civil war raised concerns among human rights groups and Western governments. Critics argued that lifting sanctions without concrete assurances could embolden other authoritarian regimes. However, he had also emerged as a potential power broker, capable of uniting disparate factions within Syria and forging a path towards a negotiated settlement. His ability to bring together various groups was seen as a critical factor in the peace process. The lifting of sanctions was contingent upon al-Sharaa's commitment to overseeing a peaceful transition to a democratic and pluralistic Syria. This included a roadmap for free elections, constitutional reforms, and the establishment of a transitional government. This included guarantees of minority rights, the disarming of militias, and cooperation with international efforts to rebuild the country. The international community pledged support, but with stringent conditions to ensure compliance. While many remained skeptical of al-Sharaa's intentions and his ability to deliver on these promises, the lifting of sanctions was seen by some as a necessary gamble, a calculated risk aimed at ending the bloodshed in Syria and preventing the country from becoming a failed state. The stakes were high, and the world watched with bated breath. As Syria stood at the crossroads of its future, the lifting of sanctions offered a glimmer of hope. The journey ahead was fraught with challenges, but for the first time in years there was a sense of possibility, a chance for a new dawn in a land long overshadowed by conflict and despair. President Trump's trip to Saudi Arabia was not without its share of controversy. The visit, intended to strengthen diplomatic ties and foster economic cooperation, quickly became a focal point for debate and scrutiny. One particular incident, involving a lavish gift from the Qatari government, threatened to overshadow the diplomatic and economic achievements of the visit. The gift, a symbol of goodwill, soon became a lightning rod for criticism and concern. Qatar, a key U.S. ally in the Gulf region, had offered President Trump a $400 million luxury jet to replace the aging Air Force One. This gesture was intended to symbolize the strong and enduring relationship between the two nations. The aircraft, a Boeing 747-8I, outfitted with state-of-the-art technology and opulent interiors, was presented as a gesture of friendship and a symbol of the strong ties between the two nations. The jet featured luxurious amenities and cutting-edge security features, making it a significant upgrade from the current Air Force One. However, the gift immediately raised ethical and security concerns. The opulence of the gift and its origins sparked a heated debate among politicians, security experts, and the public. Critics, including members of Congress from both sides of the aisle, questioned the propriety of the president accepting such a lavish gift from a foreign government. They argued that it set a dangerous precedent and could potentially influence U.S. foreign policy. They argued that it violated the emoluments clause of the U.S. Constitution, which prohibits federal officials from accepting gifts or payments from foreign states without the consent of Congress. This clause is designed to prevent undue influence and ensure that U.S. officials act in the best interest of the country. Furthermore, security experts expressed concerns about the potential for a foreign government to compromise the security of a presidential aircraft, even if it was ostensibly a gift. The possibility of hidden surveillance equipment or other security vulnerabilities was a significant worry. The controversy surrounding the Qatari jet highlighted the fine line President Trump often walked between his personal business interests and his role as head of state. His business dealings and the potential for conflicts of interest were a constant source of scrutiny throughout his presidency. While the Trump administration maintained that the gift was simply a gesture of goodwill, and that all necessary legal and ethical considerations would be taken into account, the incident cast a shadow over the trip and raised questions about the president's judgment and his commitment to upholding the ethical standards of his office. The debate over the Qatari jet served as a reminder of the complexities and challenges inherent in balancing diplomacy, security, and ethics in the highest office of the land.